Welcome back, Automotive Inc. here. Today we are going to talk about the way I would order a 2025 Chevy HD. Whether you're looking at a 2500 or 3500, I'm going to talk about some things that you may not have thought about that may help you down the road. As you guys know, I had a 2024 Chevy Silverado HD Kong with the L8T gas in it. Excellent truck, no problems, and that truck is still cruising down the road. So I did do a video on how to order your 2025 Ford, and I will link that down below. And I will also link where you can find your build configurator for your Chevy HD just below the description here. Things we need to talk about, guys, for Chevy, Ford, and Ram. No huge changes for 2025. I do believe for 2026, Chevy will refresh the front end. We don't know if they'll bump the numbers yet, but for 2025, the numbers stay the same when it comes to your towing, basically. The engine power and diesel power are all going to basically remain the same. Now, Chevy and GM and GMC, we're just going to stick with Chevy, but if you wanted to look at these options on the Sierra because you prefer that truck look better, they are sister trucks, so very, very, very similar in their options and how they're going to work out. Again, I would tell you guys in every video that I do make that these configurators that are on the internet for all the big three are not your end all. What you can do after you get the summaries, you can see if they can find one that's similar to it. Obviously, there are 25 Chevys on the ground right now, so you potentially could find one. And if it basically is your build, then you can omit it. But if you are going to build one here, you're going to need to print it out and or contact a dealer and share the link so they can see how you built it and then they can figure it. Although GM and all the others do put an asterisk by their stuff saying that sometimes some things are limited and they may pull that back off of your build even though the dealer built it itself. So first things first, don't forget to smash the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up at the end for the video, and the notification bell when I post new content. I have a lot of great stuff coming very, very soon that I think will be really fun for everybody to check out. And I always appreciate all of my fans coming back and checking out the videos. Even if you are a Ram guy and you check out the Ford stuff, it does help a small channel out. So without further ado, let's get rolling. Again, I will link this, guys, so you can just go to this link here and you can pull it up. If you go to Chevy's website, it's kind of embedded to try and find the 2025 versus the 2024. And so we can go right here. You can click your 2500 and it will bring up the cab style configurator. You can see it says 2025 right there. Now, if you've already started a previous build in a 24, you can hit the little pencil and change out and start over. Some things that I want to touch on. So for Chevy, specifically, if you like the custom trim, they still do make it. It still has the 2022 interior in it. It's an excellent quality truck, and it's also very nicely equipped. Also, the custom is not available in the 3500. The max tow is only available in 2500, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. ZR2, so if you're a serious off-roader and tower, you might want to look at that, only available in the 2500. So here we go. So when you bring it up here, I did previously build a ZR2. You can scroll down here and see where the prices and starting points are. Of course, once you pick your model there, you can see the base trim. If you want to see the details of that, you can. Then you're going to click over and go to models. For me, the nice, the value package is the custom. I love the wheels on the custom. I think it's very nice. Unfortunately, though, cameras and stuff do feel a little bit old and antiquated. So my bang for buck trim level is the LT. Again, LT you can equip with leather and not cooled seats, but leather, heated, all of that stuff. One thing to keep in mind is on the LT trim, you're not getting powered lumbar on the passenger side yet. So Ford offers you power lumbar in some of those lower trims. Ram also does not offer those in Bighorn, but we'll see what they do because you still can't really build a 25 on Ram's website. So just keep that in mind. If you need power lumbar for your front navigation, partner, passenger, whatever, you're going to have to go LTZ. Next thing here too is when you configure it, this is where you can change your engine choice. As you can see, no big difference other than the PTO takeoff on that version, and it does bump the price about $1,000. And then you can see right here, the diesel option is still about $10,000 difference to start. So at the end of the day, we'll go ahead and pick the standard diesel. Reason being is because we can talk about the max tow when we get there. So as you can see, once you hit that, you can hit exterior and you can see the colors that are available in that trim. So LT has limited paint choices as of right now. It has 6. You can get in certain trim packages, you can get more. So LTZ High Country, they will change. So of course I like Red Hot. I think a lot of people like the color, may not be for them, but it's a good looking color. They changed the look of the 17-inch wheel for 25, but to be honest with you, that 17-inch wheel looks really tiny in that giant wheel well. So me personally, I like this 20-inch spoke that comes standard on the custom, so we'll click that bad boy. You can also see basically where it makes you add it and the things that it's going to add here. It's going to make you to pick one of these packages. So I think at the end of the day, you can just, add that Z71 off-road package. You can X out of it there because you can see all the prices right here when it comes to the upgraded wheel choices. Again, Chevy wheels I think look a little bit better than Ford's option, and they definitely give you more to look at. So if we cruise in here and we pick the 20-inch spoke, again, you'll see it pop up here. And we're going to add the Z71 because that's not an overly expensive package to add. And then you can see right here where it's going to, this is the basically the max tow, max trailering package. And then if you want to see right here where it's going to pop up is added rear wheelhouse liners, protection package, downhill descent control, off-road suspension, which is just the Rancho shocks, skid plates, etc. It does have an added 2305, but if you a la carted most of those, they would be much more expensive. Or if you wanted to do that after that, then you could. As you build the truck, you can cruise through here and see what those wheels look like in the full picture, the back picture, side picture, and of course the front. So good looking truck in my books to start. So we cruise over here. Again, nothing big changing. We have the Gideon dark atmosphere, which is like a grayish tan, and then you have black. So I would pick this. Now sometimes I like the lighter colors in the interiors because Chevy interiors are traditionally a lot darker. So another thing is in an LT, you can do the power liftgate or the multi-flex. You can't do both. I like the multi-flex, so we'll select that. And then you can see here that it's going to basically do the added thing. It's a 3,900 option. You might be thinking that's quite a bit, but look what it added. In-vehicle trailering app, hitch view. It does have a manual tilt and tell, cargo bed LEDs, 120 volt outlet, which is not the same as the Pro Power on board. But you can see where it adds all of the 10-way stuff. Now they do duplicate some stuff up in here. Cargo bed LED, and then convenience package, the trailering app. Heat package, it really breaks it down so you can kind of see it. Universal remote for your garage door openers. But it does say right here, 10-way power driver's seat and power lumbar. It doesn't mention anything about that. The cool thing about Chevy is that it does, when you add certain things, if it crosses over while you're building on their thing, it takes away the differences and changes. So you'll see right here, it changed it. I like that interior. That's a good looking interior. And then as you scroll up, for me personally, I want more cup holders up front, or more storage. But this seat is actually really comfortable on a Chevy. We actually used it. But when you bump up to an LT, you are going to get that back seat passenger pad, which is right here. And I've told you guys, it does not sit flush. So when let's get out of that. When that sticks out, the middle passenger back here probably is not going to be that comfortable. So we're going to switch this to buckets. Now switching to buckets will then give you, for old school guys, you know what I mean by buckets. But when I talk to young people at dealerships, the salespeople, they don't know what buckets means. They want to talk about 40-20-40, so same thing. So you can see right there, it added that. You do get the powerless wireless charger, which I think Chevy's wireless charger is in a good place and works really good. But you can see no still power options on that passenger seat. Scroll through here, heated steering wheel comes in here. So options, okay. So this is where you can add your Trail Boss package and stuff. So if you wanted to go Trail Boss, it's going to change those wheels out from the 20 that I just picked. The snowplow camper package, I would definitely think about that for anybody that's going to be towing or having the idea of putting a slide-in camper or overhead camper in your bed. Dark Essentials package is all blacked out emblems, so that's fun. Sometimes, though, this will limit it based on the color choice that you picked. But it does so far look like it. Now, again, the Z71 package and Trail Boss package, basically aesthetics. So if you really want to get the Trail Boss, it is what it is because the Chevy spray and liner, which is an excellent liner, and they put the embossed Chevy bow tie up there in the front of the bed. I think it looks good, and I would add the camper package. Now, some of Chevy stuff you can't add if you pick certain things. Gooseneck hitch prep package, that basically, you can, if you hit on it, learns it. Basically, it's the gooseneck ball kit and the 2 shackles that help tie down. I have a kit that if you have one from a Ford Ram or anything that goes with their pucks, those will work in the Chevy, so you don't need to add that. Choose your poison when it comes to your floor liners. Me personally, the Chevy ones are really, really nice and work really, really well. And the Ford all-weather ones are not as good as the Chevy, and I would probably get aftermarket ones. But if you go Chevy, they're right on point with, you know, other price points of aftermarket ones. One big thing that I would add is I'd add this 5th wheel toe prep. So if you're a goosenecker, horse trailer, gooseneck trailer, something like that, I would definitely add this package, because you can see it's only $545. You cannot add the GM pucks later. So they come from the factory welded in. Ford and Ram you can put in later. So you're good there. All right, max trailer package. This is a big one. So if you're thinking maybe I should get a 2500 or a 3500, Chevy still offers this excellent idea of putting it in there. And here's what's great about it. You get the 3500 frame, 3500 leaf springs, 12-inch rear, 3500 shock package, the gooseneck 5th wheel prep, which is those pucks already in there, bed stamped holes and caps already installed, and we're going to add that. Now it's going to bring up a change because it says it added the higher gross vehicle weight rating, so we're definitely going to add that for $1,500. That kit and labor alone, if you're doing it through Ford, would be double that. So getting it done at Chevy and having it ready to rock plus the bed liner, it actually breaks it down because the bed liner aftermarket spraying is like $600. So you're basically getting a really good deal. So we go through there, and then again, you can cruise through all the packaging. I don't like a lot of the Chevy steps. Those are fine. The ones I've seen so far on the Trail Boss, not a huge fan of. Now, if you pick an option here that is not available in your selection, if you want to add something, then you would have to, it'll bring up a pop-up box and say, hey, you can't pick this without taking this away. Then you can decide if that's important to you. Again, rear wheelhouse liners. Chevy does a good job of putting that in there. Their wheelhouse liners are just like Ford's. They're made out of some type of soft material. I would definitely want aftermarket ones because, like the Husky liners, they allow you to basically clean up way easier. Now, these projector high beams, if you want those lamps, again, you can click on it, and if you can add it to the LT, you'll see that what it's going to want to add or change. So it says right here, we have to either pick the Trail Boss package or the Chrome Sport Edition package. And then you can see right here where it's going to change the wheels. So for me, those headlights are really cool looking. They put off a ton of light, but that's going to be something you're going to have to pick. But it does walk you through everything like that. Puddle lamps, those are super cool, but not a necessity for me. You can see where it automatically clicks those when you pick a package. As we come down here, $55 for chicken feet light. Got to add that. So we're going to add that. I love those, but if you don't like them, you don't have to. They do offer their own mud guards here. We already added the Multiflex. And then basically right here is the power folding ones. If you want those in an LT with the little spotter map, you're going to have to click on that. It'll bring up what you're going to have to add and the add for it. So $16.45, we want that for all the trailering stuff. And then right here is basically all the rest of the accessories as you cruise through them. And then there are the Z71 mats. Chevys are excellent. Again, once you add certain things, you do get the power slider automatically, remote start, universal home remote. If it already has a blue check, that comes as a package. And if you were to unclick that, then it's going to tell you what it's also going to remove because it's all part of a huge package. So as you cruise through here, these tabs are going to keep changing. You can either click on them and go to them, or as you scroll up, it's just going to go from one to the next. Now, one thing that I would add in here is you can either add the dual alternators, which I had on Kong, and I had dual batteries, or you can find where it adds the actual auxiliary battery right here for $135. Get dual batteries. Again, if you're a person that's out somewhere and one battery fails, you have a fallback there, and if one gets weak. So again, in Loki, we had a lot of problems with that, so whatever. As for AutoTrack 2-speed transfer case, I never use that, even if I had it. I don't like using auto because if a wheel slips, it kind of wants to go into four-wheel drive, so it is what it is. Now, if you're getting a diesel, I'd also suggest getting the high idle switch. That allows you to ramp up idle, so it will help prevent regens as much as you can. Right here you can get the trailer wiring for gooseneck setup, and as you cruise through here you can see that basically all of that stuff for safety is going to be in the package. As you pop up at the end of this thing, it's going to say, hey, we have a best match right here, and it'll show how many differences from what you picked to what's on the lot. So I wanted a red one. They obviously don't even have a red one, but you can cruise through here and see all of this stuff. Now, one cool thing is if you want to register a free account with GM, you can actually just register and save it with the heart icon. If you hit that and you don't have an account, it'll walk you through setting that up. But as you can see, an LT built with the diesel 76815 before delivery and handling charges. Right here, you also have the ability to print it, and then this is the send. So if you're already working with somebody, you can hit that and put in their email, and the link will be sent directly to them. So one thing I want to talk about is I put out the Ford how to order the Ford video, and with Ford you got to get the locker, and because it bumps your tow ratings. And somebody said, well, you know, Chevy doesn't even offer it in their builds. Well, because all of Chevys and GMC HDs have a automatic locking rear, so there is no option for you to actually turn it on in the Ford to lock it. Chevy's is an automatic locker. I think it's a G80, and they've had that for years. They really don't do limited slip. They have two options for rear ends. If you go gas, you get 373. If you go diesel, it's 342, and that's really it. Even in the 1-ton dually, it's the same setup. You don't get any different. So, but all of those axles are automatically locking rears. So when you sit down and want to build one of these bad boys, you can go back and keep changing it. But if you're in between a 2500 and 3500, the cool thing is that max trailer tow is a little bit cheaper than the 1-ton and basically gives you the 1-ton. So at the end of the day, you know, you can pick which truck that you really like the best and really build it. But that max trailer tow package is a really cool option when you're building it to get that extra boost. Now, when it comes to trailer tow specs, Chevys are specific to the VIN strike area. They put a sticker on there with the VIN, and that gives you the exact tow number. So depending on your trim, the more stuff you put in it will take a little bit away from your payload. But basically what Chevy's saying is that the tow ratings are basically the same because it's all the same rear end. It's all the same truck. Nothing's different. Versus like Ford, they're like, well, if you do this, this, and this, it changes it. So with Chevy, you automatically get an auto-locking rear, so that's not a big deal. Again, ZR2 is 2500 specific, just like the Custom, and it is basically an off-road / towing vehicle. Both Ford, Chevy, and GMC keep very good high tow ratings with their off-road trucks, versus like Ram, you do lose a little bit if you're going to go to a Power Wagon. And I know somebody said the other day, Power Wagon is truly an off-road vehicle. That's really what it is. It's really an off-road vehicle. The ZR2 is a towing / off-road vehicle. And the Tremor, you can get an F350 Tremor, so that is a big deal. You cannot get the max trailer tow on a ZR2 Chevy. So depending on what your needs are, I say go 10 to 20% more than what you need when it comes to ordering a truck. That way you can forecast in the future and know that you're never going to have to swap out your truck, because these things are already outrageously expensive. And so I would say forecast that right now, if you're going to tow less than 10, of course, a 3/4 ton is going to do more than plenty for the rest of your life. But if you intended later to go up to 16, 17,000, then diesel, gas, and 1-ton, 3/4 ton may be something that you need to forecast about and think about, so you don't have to upgrade later. Because I know a lot of guys like me, I'll always use that excuse to get my wife to let me buy another truck. Like, I need a bigger truck. I need a bigger truck. I do it on purpose. But for the most of us, y'all are going to buy this truck and keep a hold of it and really work out. Last thing is, when we talked about the 24s, people said that the Allison transmission that has replaced the 6-speed for the gas is not the same as diesel. It is absolutely the exact same transmission. It is not a branded, you won't see it on the pan where it says Allison or anything like that, but it is an Allison transmission. And even though some people speculate, GM owned Allison way back in the day, and eventually they sold it, but they still built the transmissions with it. And I think it's a great, excellent transmission. It did really well. It's still doing well in Kong. Is it better than Torque Shift? I think it is. Allison is an excellent transmission, but a lot of people say it's no longer an Allison. This one was built with Ford. That is not the case. That was the half-ton transmission. We're talking HDs, and that is an Allison, whether it says it or not. They've paid for the rights to have Allison. Basically, GM builds it in-house with the Allison design. It is an Allison. So those that are concerned about that, don't worry about it. But there are some people who said they've encountered problems with the torque shift, the everything. So Ram's gonna have the same problems with their new ZF when it comes out. So at the end of the day, that's how you build a 2025. Things to really think about, and just rewind the video, check it out again. Appreciate you guys all being here, and we'll catch you on the next one.